the first game of day 3 here of the Super Weekend. Very nice little playing path here for everybody. In fact, Saverni for Yudu Gank will be open. Yes, Naya obviously quite easy to get towards, but Synergy I think will be most happy with this circle here, with Mansion and Lipovka being some of their most standard spots. You can see them already out of the plane, flying straight down to start looting up nice and early. T1 also dropping out the plane early. I think they might be heading towards Mill to Power. Honestly, quite frequently, no one's been really heading to Mill to Power, and the fact that T1 have identified this is nice. I really like the way we keep bringing up the story of T1, that they're a nomadic team. They like to go wherever they want to go, and the adaptability of their playstyle, it's really good. It excites me.
Sure, they had been dropping a few times in North George, and maybe that plays into why they're dropping Mill to Power here. It's late on the plane path, it's far away from it as well. Maybe they just want to have a little bit of a change up. But yeah, absolutely. What I mean is, so they're not even going to have...
They are, in fact, in the global finals, use this area very, very efficiently. They love to rotate around here purely because they like to deny each time we get to Circle 2.
I mean, we're used to seeing it from Team Secret, but it's a new situation from Box Gaming. So you're right, we'll have to wait and see what sort of power they're going to be able to gather from their positional play, from that control they have over the ground. And if that's going to last too long, because there are teams out to the west of them, and there are teams that will move their way. We're still in the looting phase, however, so they're secure for now. The question is, will they make the same mistake that we've said that Team Secret have started to make, which is losing a player, staying too aggressive with those scouts in a single solo situation?
Yeah, and I mean, Team Secret, this is a team currently in GAK. Obviously, No Chance team seems to be the one that's giving them the most trouble recently. So they come up from the south side, move to the north, and tend to take out one extra player from Team Secret. And then Team Secret, they're down on the player already, and it becomes slightly more difficult for them. Yesterday, though, the reaction speed from them was a lot better. There was a moment where I actually felt like they maybe would win that fight versus No Chance. They were using a lot of cool little tactics, getting on top of the buildings. You can tell this team is very, very strong, and there is a reason why they're here in the actual World League. So I'm excited to see more from Team Secret, but obviously we've got some different teams to be taking a look at the moment. For instance, Synergy over towards Lipovka. We said that they were coming out of the plane very early. They currently have control of a prison, shelter just outside of Lipovka, as well as Mansion, another team that's taking up a huge amount of landmass within this circle. And we mentioned this yesterday on the desk, where Synergy were taking up a huge amount of space, specifically on Vikendi outside of Castle. So they're doing this again here, and I'm loving the confidence from this team. They told me on Twitter that on Instagram, sorry, they've still got some strats left in the back pocket that they like to pull out towards the end. So
message you on _casts on Instagram?
Oh yeah, they messaged me over on _casts at Instagram. Okay. And they could also message you over at John Allen Casts, I believe it is, on Instagram.
Yeah, I managed to get rid of the underscore at the end of my name.
New handle.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Big fan. Orange Rock, we talked about their guarding of Rossok and the exit from there yesterday, Blank, towards Valdez the Murder, who currently occupy the position. But Orange Rock have changed it up just a little bit. You can see Scout actually all the way over on the north side of the river, and they're trying to control some of that ground, maybe trying to block some teams from rotating through, such as Yudu, when they make that move down south. We'll have to see what they're able to spot out.
Yudu tend to come down past Naya, though, and I'm not entirely sure why Scout's on this side. Maybe he's worried that TSM Entity are going to change up their playstyle, because we know that TSM Entity tend to come down to the west side and then inject from that side straight past Gatka into the circle. So with this new circle, TSM Entity might pull up towards North George and then past shooting range down into where Orange Rock like to scout past from.
Scout is actually regrouping with the rest of the squad now, so he's made that loot, he's made that rotation as well.
Early scouting, it's fair play.
Yeah, okay. So they're back to basics. And something I've noticed as well is that several of the players from Team Secret have grouped up, but then you essentially have a 2-2 split here, Blank. You've got Mad Toy leading one duo over in the foothills of Everest and actually moving now back towards the rest of his squad. And the other duo sat around Gatka Fields in that sort of location. And they'll be able to group up a little bit further. They're aided by the fact that the circle isn't shifting towards them, which means that they can choose when to group up and when to move in.
Yeah, and it also means that they're not under a huge amount of pressure. For instance, yesterday, obviously on the western side of the map, we had some circles on Erangel, and Team Secret, they were under a lot of pressure purely because teams were coming over into their ground. We saw that GXR, Celts, Megastars all taking up residence in Gatka, and Team Secret got shunted out of there fairly quickly. Synergy starting to group up now. They realize how central of a position they are in, and they don't want to get caught off guard again. They want to make sure they can get a 4-man unit, start holding down these mega locations. Currently, they've got a really, really strong compound in the middle of the circle, which has sightlines onto many of the roads around here, which are typical rotation spots. BTR, though, continuing to be that patient team. And I was thinking about this last night, John. I was thinking to myself that BTR consistently towards that top 5, and we don't mention it too often. And it's become almost this running theme of like, you know what, I kind of expect BTR to do really well. And I need to give them more credit for that. I need to give them more praise. They are a fantastic team. They deserve to be towards the top. I think it's just got to the point for me where I'm like, oh yeah, that's standard from them. That's standard.
They do well. That's what you think about when you're tucked up in your gym jams at night and you think,
no,
you know what? I really like BTR. That's what Blank dreams of, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much for that insight into your
you're welcome.
Into your mind. But Bigatron, you're right. They absolutely outperform themselves every single time, and it does get to the point of almost normalcy, which is absolutely insane when you stop and think about it. Hopefully they'll be able to continue that reign of terror. RRQ, another similarly strong team, and they talked about it on the desk. Consistency, right? That is the name of their game. They've moved out to east from Pachinki. They've got control of Potato Hill. They have this compound on the top side. They're near King of Gamers, but quite frankly, I don't think King of Gamers want to make this push, Blank. There's such a strong hold from RRQ right now.
You know, I mean, for RRQ, consistency could be a word you would use for them. But personally, I think consistency comes in the sense that they are always putting up those high kill numbers. I do, however, think they're a little bit aggressive at times, a little bit too aggressive in terms of maybe overconfidence, where they refuse to even back off from a fight early on. They just keep pressuring that fight over and over. And really, that's come back to bite them. I mean, just taking one example from yesterday, Miramar, where they got locked in that fight between them and Synergy. They refused to leave that fight, and they used so many resources that they could have used for the end of the game, which actually caused D2E to go down out in the blue zone. So he had no help from his team, no more medical supplies, and if they disengaged from that fight earlier, maybe they wouldn't have run into Udo. Maybe D2E could have gone to the circle and they could have done something else with maybe 2 players on board.
Valdez the Birder have left Roshok now out towards the east. And they have moved just a little bit further south. This is a very central cluster here, Blank. Everybody's moved very, very early and far into the circle, except, that is, for a few teams. And one of those teams, TSM Entity, Blank, and this is a team that we talked about a lot. They have managed to have a really strong day yesterday. And so we're looking at them today to try and carry that over and make sure that they can keep that up, because that's going to be really important moving forward, getting those points on board, try and shift your way out of those bottom ends of the table and make sure you get those points to qualify for the finals.
Now, TSM Entity keep putting in those high damage numbers, right? And I think that they're not necessarily getting those kills, those flushes on the knocks like the Des was talking about. And this is potentially because what we see from them time again is they fly into a really central spot after playing Ed for a while and then try and fight off a load of different teams. So I think they could do a lot more if they try and take this approach that BTR have, which is stay on the outskirts, play for that win towards the end. But TSM, they are changing their playstyle in that way, getting a lot better. And I think we've seen some fantastic individual plays from all of these players, and I'm just ready to see this team excel and perform.
Bigatron coming close to GXR Celts, the team that exhibits speed, violence, aggression, as Avendra was highlighting over on the desk. And they're fast in those fights, right? That's their sort of signature style into the fray, but they aren't going to be quite locked horns yet with Bigatron. And they opt instead just to take a back foot there, and Bigatron rotate out away from that conflict and choose to control the ground around Milter a little bit better.
See Udo gank here, scout here inside of a compound. Now I'm slightly worried for Orange Rock. They don't have the tightest of hold on this position, especially with Reject Scarlet to their east, Udo to their north, and Valdez off to their southwest. So they are kind of closed in here. I don't really have too much of a good compound either, and it looks like Jumper has spotted a few players from Orange Rock, so now the shots are starting to come through. Most players will start to see where those shots are going, knowing there's a team on this hillside, and really Orange Rock, they're in the center of it, they're in the thick of it.
Not quite able to knock the head off yet, but Orange Rock, they've spotted well, they think they're playing behind. Unfortunately, there's no one actually behind that car. They have to...
well, no one shall be having it.
Get some better scouting done there, unfortunately. Udu Gank taking a couple of shots over towards Orange Rock. I mean, we saw Jumper try and pop the sniper shots before, but the rest of Udu Gank are actually spreading out for a pretty decent 2-2 split to hold them off in this situation. They're currently playing just to the east of School, east of Rozhok as well, and Udu Gank are on the north edge, which means they're not too worried about anyone behind them. They know that they're the players who come from Severny, so they've cleared a lot of the angles there.
Yeah, TSM, they make their way into Yasnaya, just on the outskirts of the city. Don't want to enter this one too early. We saw how badly that went for a lot of teams yesterday on Miramar with Los Leones, with those circles going all over the place. Reject Scarlet, though, they haven't rotated a huge amount. And I'm happy for that. They found themselves a place within the circle. They're holding this place down, and they're not getting too erratic. I think that's what I would describe them most as over the previous few days. It's just erratic behavior when it comes to rotations, maybe doing it a bit too much. But it feels like they're starting to slow it down, and even got that Duello second place finish there on Miramar. So things are getting better for Reject Scarlet.
We'll be keeping track of them. I mean, they are currently sat 16th. You're right, Blank, 44 points. But that is still 44 points more than the 4 teams aren't playing. So, you know, they are managing to add those up, and it all counts at the end. Qualifying in that 16th spot is, well, not necessarily as good as qualifying at first, but it will get you in the door, and that's really what matters here. Next circle coming through. Ooh, a cheeky little shift there up northwest towards School, towards Valdez the Murder, towards the conflict that we've been talking about between Orange Rock and Udu, and towards RRQ, the consistent killers of the lobby.
Yeah, and it's an enjoyable little circle for a lot of people in terms of there's going to be quite a few compounds here. You might see some long-range fights coming through. Potato Hill creates a slight little issue for a few of the teams where you can't really rotate on top of it fairly easily, and that Scout actually going down. I believe he was in that compound. Marvi, though, is firing back onto Valdez the Murder, but we've got Box Gaming on our screen.
Yeah, heavy casualties actually for Valdez the Murder. 2 players going down. They are pretty grouped up, so they'll be able to get that res. Scout did get fully flushed, but they're locked in combat, close range. Gil gets naded out on Joan. Huge arc there. As Goddard trying to shoot his teammate. Okay, interesting decision, but 2 players upstanding for both squads now. Another nade sent over the top for Marvi, isolating the upper ranges. Oh, a lot of damage found. He vaults up onto the roof. Will have been spotted by JCZ, so he can feed that information over. Viru is on the off angle. He'll be looking to try and control it. Gil did get rezzed. Managed to get the heal as well, so they control the ground floor. Goddard is going to get controlled himself. Arm Joan now going into the fight, and it's Valdez the Murder eliminated. Orange Rock with 3 wipe the compound.
Very well played from Orange Rock there. Even from the beginning of the fight, just that nade from Marvi actually forced the players from Valdez the Murder downstairs, so they couldn't take a high ground position. After that, what you see from there is the team just regrouping in that first aid through, and the push is just not fast enough from Valdez the Murder, despite the information that JC said was giving them. Marvi drops down from the side. They get a perfect pincer move. I think Orange Rock, as a free, played that very nicely.
Fantastically coordinated. It was just unfortunate that they did lose Scout earlier on. It does happen, you know, if you're crashing a compound, often the guy who's first in is going to get taken down. But they get themselves a position, they get themselves control.
And here's Team IND actually taking shots over towards T1. Youngjin hits the floor. Synergy is actually off to the east side with a potential for a third party onto this fight. You can see Schreider, though, still stuck in a slight shack, and Sirvi just crouching his way away from this one. Megastar's also taking shots onto No Chance Team. Currently behind them on the south side. No Chance Team are going to have to turn around shortly. They don't quite have that central position, that high ground from Potato Hill as of yet.
Not just yet. They have... RRQ have moved out from right at the top of Potato Hill. So they'll give over that control. Synergy on the eastern side, starting to push up north, using the cover that the roadside ridge gives them to move up just a little bit further. But they have to be worried. Bigatron are actually skirting out wider than they are. They're in the blue, and they're not really too phased by it. It's only zone 3. They know they're very, very close, and even if they have to take the fight, they know that they can do. However, it's Synergy, and if you cast your mind back to yesterday, that's the team who really gave them a lot of trouble towards the final circles on Erangel, Blank.
Next circle, Pops goes towards the center, favoring Orange Rock as well as Reject Scarlet. Synergy, though, disengaging from that fight between them and T1 very, very quickly. Understand there's another team in that location. They didn't have to take that fight there. I really like that from Synergy. It feels like quite an intelligent team. Sirvi taking a few shots his way. BTR will leave this fight, head up towards the north side, understanding that the field should be clear, so teams will be out of this area and they can safely get themselves on the north side. So really good reads from them. Synergy, though, still taking this fight with T1, and Team IND have favored just to move into the circle, but they are very close by to King of Gamers.
The bell has rung, the circle shifts away from school, and everyone's going to have to leave. It's home time. Unfortunately, the fields don't provide much of a homely atmosphere, especially when the nades are rolling down the hills from RRQ. Box trying to summit this position, and it was King of Gamers who were trying to do it before against the position from RRQ, and that they didn't manage to really find any sort of opening there. And now Box are trying to mount up, grouped up after their early split as D2E lands yet another nade. That's 2 players down for Box. They get into those buggies. The spray downs are coming through. A lot more damage found onto Lewis. He sends over the ridge line, and it's just so much damage. Decimation. RRQ continue their consistent streak.
It's the huge amount of aggression that comes out of this team, which is just incredible to watch. Very, very fun. We see how much damage these guys put out on a regular basis. I just want to see them be maybe a little bit more cautious, but I mean, if you do run around with a massive greatsword in hand in terms of skill in a fight, I think you sometimes can throw caution to a wind.
TSM Entity on the western side of this next circle towards the apartments near Team Secret, who are operating from the top of those buildings. No Chance team very, very close to RRQ as well. They have got a compound, but they aren't in this next circle. T1 having some trouble leaving on the southeastern side, because that's where a lot of these teams are, Blank. You've got about 4 teams holding in the southeastern side, and then you've got RRQ and No Chance just out to the west a little bit further. So there is a huge traffic jam in this location.
Luxie actually drops the floor there. Will get finished off by Reject Scarlet. Microboy just about made his way into the circle, just outside that loot box, using that for cover for the time being. Orange Rock haven't really had to move, but here's RRQ now moving into No Chance team. RRQ not stopping for anybody.
No, they have got control of the circle as well. They know that No Chance are going to have to push towards them. There's only 2 players left for No Chance, and RRQ are still 4 players strong. Offdel's down as well, and now it's just 1 Heineken left for No Chance, and he gets up and he's just going to try and send it all the way down the hill, get away from that fight, but the Megastars already awaiting. If he puts a turn out of line, they will clap him back. We'll just have to see if he's able to make it in any further. Try and snake his way through into the battlefield. Team IND taking a fight with Synergy. A snake strafing nade is going to do quite a lot of damage there. Launches another one over, trying to isolate them. That could be big on towards Ted. Able to get the knock. Strider takes a little bit more as well. 1 player down, and it's now 420 OP to cook up another. Sends it over the top, trying to loop it in, and a lot more damage found on the Strider, but he'd already started that first aid. Unfortunately, Ted gets finished out as the bombardment continues, Blank.
Team IND just tossing nades over the top, and now it's time for Synergy for a bit of response. Slayer, though, just dashing away. ZZP out in the circle. You see him in the blue there, and he's just trying to heal up. 420 OP, I think he might have actually taken a nade very close to him, but just about escapes here. Now taking shots. Another player goes down from Synergy.
Able to spot the shot on towards CRV. Slayer did get knocked in the meantime, but they are not going to be too phased by that. They are still 4 players, although he is down. The circle shifts southwest, and that's away from this fight, Blank.
420 goes down to a nade from Synergy. Now, Synergy know they have 1 of 2 options. Play this safe and try and wait it out, or push forward, and they go for the second option.
Able to convert that kill, get the flush. 5 kills on the board for Team IND, but they are under fire from all angles. Nades being thrown, smokes trying to cover their rotations. He's just trying to bomb any meds. You can see Kratos with no first aids, only those 5 bandages. Strider gets spotted out, but he hits the deck just in time. And he dodges around the bullets. Megastars get a few of those kills, but Kratos is the last to get spotted out. And it is the elimination towards Team IND.
Synergy get away with that one by the skin of their teeth. Megastar's actually helping them out in those last moments, and now it's RRQ again taking another fight, this time with Team Secret. Oh my lord, bulldozers of the lobby.
PMWL last to fall, and it's RRQ, 11 kills blank, and there are 35 players still alive. Those are final circle numbers, blank, not 10 teams remaining.
I believe that is now TSM Entity out. Oh. And look at that RRQ explode, Synergy. What is happening? Beer goes down. Now Megastars are coming into this.
Finally, they're getting peppered in response, and Beery will fall. That was a quick turnaround. D2E and Beer as well. Okay, fine. They've finally been taken to task, blank, but goodness me, what a run they've had already.
That's a fantastic amount of kills on board for... I mean, G9's already on 5, and he's still alive alongside his Ernie. ZZP goes down from T1 in 10th. King of Gamers hold on to this compound. Wait out for a little bit longer, but Yudugan go down. And look at this, Orange Rock are actually still alive from that long ago. They will have to now leave that compound, and Reject Scarlet might see their run across. Megastars have 2 players on the floor. No, just the one. Vexy healing up.
Encore, trying to dodge around Ernie. Takes a hit, but will be safe behind the tree. The DP spray for Encore, trying to suppress Ernie here. You've got G9 on the off angle and very low HP across the board on, I say across the board, on 2 of their players on Megastars. They're distributing those meds. G9 gets into the buggy, and RRQ want to relocate.
There is Reject Scarlet taking heavy fire from BTR Ryzen as well as Microboy. 2 players just trying to take down a 4-man team. Ernie looking out there, takes some more shots. Oh my lord, all that healing that Swag was able to bring back up, all put away.
Ernie's right against the blue here. They're looking for those nades as well. They know he's behind the tree. They know he can't really get too far, but it's not going to be quite far enough up the hill. Another one sent through to try and get a little bit more, but it really isn't doing too much to phase Ernie. The next circle's very nearby, and they can continue this fight.
So next circle comes in, like you said, it's close by. Ernie and G9 within striking distance of that. Obviously, we'll have to leave this high ground position to do it, as well as the limited amount of cover that they do have. Ernie just trying to sneak around the side. G9 jumping up and down, trying to get a little bit of information. Orange Rock are now out over on that side, and Reject Scarlet actually removing Bigatron. Reject Scarlet having a good time, but now down to just 1 player, Nurli, and Pime from Box Gaming, a superstar player on that team, still alive, consistently the last player alive for Box Gaming.
Megastars had a great day yesterday, Blanket. It looks like they're going to start off today as well in a similar spot. All 4 of them alive. 6 teams remaining. It's only King of Gamers who have all 4 alive, and they are actually occupying one of the very few compounds near this circle, so we'll see if they're able to leverage that.
Oh no. Just playing it safely for the time being. King of Gamers Club, they'll have to leave their compound. Reject Scarlet, they've got a long way to go, and you doubt they make it, and they don't. Megastars Encore actually with a beautiful little headshot there over on sit position within this circle. Encore again with some more fire down onto King of Gamers.
That's unfortunate. A kill found, a flush there. 7 kills now for the Megastars. They're trying to challenge RRQ for the top kills in this game. 11 kills for RRQ, and they're not going to stop. GXR Celts, they're getting peppered down from the top of the hill as well. They are still alive. Sorry, they had all 4 as well. I didn't actually quite see that earlier, but they're still all there. Still all going. A tanky, though, takes a knee.
You know, RRQ just remind me of a honey badger. It doesn't matter if you're a bear or a 4-man team, they're still going to take a fight with you no matter what you do. I think your best idea is just to leave them alone most of the time. When they're in close quarters, there's not much you can do as the circle starts to crunch all these players together. Pime, though, once again, assisting his 2-man brethren in RRQ over here.
Goodness me, Tanky actually gets finished and flushed there. Time's out, unfortunately, and Pime still going on towards GXR Celts. They're just getting peppered from up the hill, from on the sidelines as well. The Megastars now getting challenged on their ridgeline by the King of Gamers with 3 players alive. Optron gets knocked by the blue. MJ taken down from up the hill. And it's Ernie to land the headshot with the DP. GXR Celts eliminated. King of Gamers taking heavy fire from Megastars as well.
Circle heads center here. King of Gamers got the best spot for it. Megastars, they will have to come down from the hillside. King of Gamers, they've been desperately trying to stay alive this whole time, but Box Gaming actually have the backstab on pretty much every single team here. He can try and stay alive as Pime for as long as possible, try and get towards that top 3 spot where the points start to jump up for that 10, 14, and 20th place. You're down, he's going to get the chicken dinner, but you know, with the way he's been playing, there is a potential.
Absolutely, the guy is a genius. when it comes to these final circles. We'll see if he's able to capitalize.
Oh, G9's definitely spotted him.
I think he might have done. I mean, he's taken some shots earlier. They'll be aware of someone in that location. So it could just be scouting. They might not know exactly the bead, but we'll see what more they can do. King of Gamers still in it. One of them is down, and no one really close, and no one wanting to make that push, actually. The spray from G9 is good. Oh, Raga gets dropped, and it's actually G9 to finish it off as well. Oh, finds another. Gets the guys down on the knee. It's Swag going for the long-range spray. Now just Concept alive for King of Gamers, and the Megastars have 4 alive into this final circle.
Can we just appreciate that RRQ are still continuing to play a 2-2 split towards this end of the circle?
With 2 players.
With 2 players? Like, if one of them goes down, that's it, they're out. It's ridiculous.
Not quite sure how a 2-2 split works with 2 players.
1-1 split. There we go.
Ernie is going to split off from the rest of his team. He goes for a quick send, and actually Concept gets eliminated in the meantime. G9 suffers a disastrous fate there. Ernie gets spotted out, and it's going to be Swag to get the spray down. Unfortunately, Ernie not quite finished off there. The Megastars will be denied for now, but PMA steps up again. Goodness me, he's going to make it all the way to second. Ernie, he might have been spotted out. Oh, he jumps his spot. No! PMA, he gets all the way to second. The snake from Box going to deny RRQ. Oh, dear me. 5 players alive, 1 player left. It's PMA. He's got a first aid, but I don't know how much more he's going to be able to get done. They are going to be happy with that. Over the top of the line, over the top of the ridge they go. Swag sends out wide. PMA drops. The